Hey, quick little video because I'm building my mini mags. And you can have a look here on my fantastic new little truck that I'm working on. Ooh, shiny. So, anyway, I'm going to do a bit of an assembly here because I just want to show you some of that and get you an idea of how to put these together. These are dead easy, so you should be able to figure it out on your own, but I figure why not make a video, so here we are. Speaking of foams, I'm making rock crushers for this, by the way. This is my spare. And the rock crushers have a pretty stiff tire sidewall. They have a pretty stiff tread, unlike Falcon G35 or something like that. So these are like a pretty stiff walled tire already. So I like to cut my foams undersize, as you can see. And they don't push out on the tread, so that the foam is pretty much smaller than the tire, so that gives the chance of the tire to actually compress a little bit when it's on the rocks. And when the tire is stiff as this and the truck is as light as that, I find it works pretty good. So stick your foam in your tire. That's the first thing to do. I like to go around all the way around the outside with my thumb in each side of the tire and stretch it out a little bit. And you can kind of go around it like this, and that just makes sure that the foam is actually in the center of the tire. You can also stick your thumbs inside like this and just squish it out, because you want the foam to be straight all the way around and straight this way as well. If it's not, the tires might end up wobbling like this while you're driving and stuff. It's pretty bad. You'll find in the package for the mini mags, this one or the slot, the wheel is stacked into 3 pieces. You can see there that the face, the inner ring, the back ring, and then all the hardware is up in the bag, which I already took out. It's all kicking around here. And, whoopsie. And then the brake rotor, of course. You'll notice the brake rotor has one thick side and one thin side. That was a manufacturing thing that we decided to do to help us with the fixturing. It has nothing to do with anything. So if you want to put these this way on your truck or that way, you do whatever you want. I like to think that some guy might decide to use a scale caliper on this, on his little axle. And if he does that, then he might want to have these in it this way or that way. It'll give him some spacing options. That's why. So I'm going to take the locking ring now, and I'm going to shove the locking ring inside the tire. Basically, it's bigger than the bead, obviously, or it wouldn't lock. And so you do have to kind of stretch out the tire to shove this in. And once it's in there, what I like to do with these is actually put my thumb inside and pull the tread on the other side. And the reason I do this, you go around and do this a few times, and it looks counterproductive, but it's not, because what you end up doing is straightening out the foam inside again. And that's really, really important. Look inside the tire. Look inside on both sides and make sure that the foam is the equal amount on each side of the ring. Okay? That's important too, because you could have the ring not centered on the foam. If the foam is a little stiff or kind of bulky or whatever, and then you end up pinching the foam in the tire, and then the tire wobbles when you drive. So that looks crazy. Just take some time to make sure the inner locking ring is in there really nice and straight. Put the face on first. Okay. When you put the face in, I like to hold the tire on the table and push the face down in the center until it's kind of like in the wheel. So it's kind of in, but it's kind of sticking out a little bit, not quite flat. And then while you're pushing down in the middle on the table, you can pull the tire just out slightly, and you'll see the bead pop around the outside of the rim. Okay? This is really, really easy, and the difference on the look is just huge. Now have a look at this one. So you can see how nice and smooth the bead lines up with the edge of the rubber, like it's just perfect. Mint. So do that. And then I want you to go to the back of the tire and push down on the back of the tire as well, because that will seat the locking ring onto the front bead. Okay? Push that down. And then get the back ring. Whoopsie-doo. Get the back ring. Stick the back ring in the tire to make sure that the 5 screw holes here are actually lined up with the 5 screws in the back of the wheel. Okay? So line those up the best you can on top. And then while you're pushing that down, you can stretch the tire just a tiny little bit, pull it out a little tiny bit. Not much, just a tiny bit, so that that center piece will go down inside. And there, we got that in. And this is your chance to line up those 5 holes. Turn them around, and you can see inside here now. You can see that it's sitting in the wheel, but it's not locked into that lip on the bead either. So now push this down the same way you did the face. Push the back down and pull out the tire slightly all the way around. It doesn't take much. You just give it a little bit of a roll with your finger. And then you'll see the back lock into the rubber too. Now look how smooth that bead lines up with the tire at the back. Just like the front, where the front is all lined up smooth with the rubber. The back is also lined up smooth with the rubber. And then all you got to do is push this down just slightly now, because you've pretty much locked the tire already. You just push this down slightly, put in your 5 pieces of hardware here into the back. Keep in mind that the hardware that goes in the back of these wheels isn't very big hardware. You really don't need to crank them down too tight. You need to crank them down until they stop. Then your wheel's locked, and then you can stop turning. Okay? Don't bother trying to crank them. You're just going to strip out the screw heads, or you're going to damage the screwdriver, one or the other. So don't bother cranking them. And once they sit kind of touching, then go around the outside all the way around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just sit them so they're flat and they're flush and they're tight. Okay? Not too bad, just nice. You can have a look inside there now. So you can see there's no more gap between the back ring and the front face there. The hardware has just pulled it in nice and flush. And the tire is totally locked on there. You can't get that off now. It's nice and tight. So, the cool thing is, we've talked about this before, but the cool thing is that the offset on these wheels actually has the hex center line towards the face. So instead of having the hex center line towards the back of the wheel, the hex center line is towards the face by a couple millimeters, which is awesome, because that means when you go to put your rotor on and mount this onto your truck, the wheel actually pulls in even farther. So, I mean, this is a really nice example of what I'm talking about here. With this body, typical Hilux here, I'll drop it down even past the frame so you can see this. So, this is what it looks like with a rock crusher on a mini mag. The tire tread is like 1.5 millimeters outside of the actual fender lip, without using any fender lip extensions or anything on this Hilux bed. So, you know, I'm talking super nice. I really like the fitment on these wheels. They do draw the tires in really nice into the body. They lock on really nice. It's pretty easy to do. And of course you get scale points for having a rotor. And you also get a fantastic looking wheel. Thanks very much for watching the video. If you guys want to clean your wheels, these are bare aluminum straight from a CNC lathe, all done in-house. And I want you to clean these with some Windex and you can buff them up a little bit. Use no ammonia Windex window cleaner, or you can use very mild dish soap, diluted like a bazillion to 1, so that there's hardly any soap. A little bit of water, and then air dry them, or my favorite method of cleaning the wheel. Oh yeah, right on the shirt, man. Woohoo! Gets all your fingerprints off, looks brand new. Get those mounted up on your truck. Have fun, guys. Thanks for having a look at the GCM mini mags. If you got the slots or the 10-hole or any other style of mini mag, they're all the exact same design and fitment and assembly. So go to it. If you have any questions, post below on the video in the comments, and we'll be happy to help you out, guys. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.